wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like thunder, gonna sacred ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got a lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar rewards card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valley right there. That's what's coming for the Mountaineers. They're down there. They're down Texas, getting ready for Big 12 media days, getting ready for this season, getting ready to go to Happy Valley. It's coming day after day. It is coming. Yes. And welcome to the WolfMan's call. I'm the WolfMan, Dale Wolfman. It is Thursday. And I hope you can join us and enjoy the show today, because it is a day to pull up a chair, get your favorite food, get your favorite drink, and sit there and listen, because this is story time. And when I say story time, I'm talking about story time, some real Mountaineer characters, some individuals that go way back in history. But let's go ahead and talk about right here, the WolfMan's Call Network. And we're so glad to have them join us here. And we're going to start off. If you're in Morgantown, you can go to Legends out there at Lakeview at the Golf Resort. Legends Sports Bar and Grill. Aaron Gizzy, go ahead and take care of the Giz man. And if you're in Morgantown, you go to the Mountaineer Tap House. You got Mel, Melissa. What's up, Mel? Shout out to you from here. And of course, you got the Mason Jar Saloon and Hotspot with Steve Reese. And we'll just go right down to Fairmont right there and go to the Mason Jar with the barbecue and more. Unbutton those britches. And then we go, of course, we hit Bridgeport with the Brickside Bar and Grill. Rob Davis, what did he say? He says, eat local. And heading on down, man, we go to Teays Valley and the Pallet Bar. You got AB and Haley. Tip them well. 24 different kinds of craft beers. And last but certainly not least, we have Route 22 right there in Weirton, West Virginia. Bottoms up with the tap. Great job. Great setup. 12 50-inch TVs. They make one. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Hello, everybody. How are you today on this fine Thursday? I hope you're doing well, because I am fired up. I am ready to go, and I have a whole slew. Now, I was going to play my favorite video of the week, but I think we got too many people on guests here that we just need to come on. And so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring them on one at a time. And of course, our Frank Fair, the author of the Band of Brothers, who this is basically, it's story time right now, right? I mean, so we're getting to story time. You got your drink all set. Got to get your favorite food there. And let's go ahead and pull Frank on up. Frank, how we doing, man?
Doing great, Wolf. Good to see you.
That's great to see you, man. We got a whole army today, right?
That's right.
It's all going on. And, of course, next we have Jamie Braxton Brand. And I want to tell you this. Now, this is the Braxton family. Obviously, Jim Braxton, if you don't know who he was, you don't really know Mountaineer football. But, again, we're going to have some family members. They are the first family of Mountaineer Nation. Hello, Jamie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I like that. I'm pretty good with that rotation right there, huh? Not too bad. And, of course, we're going to keep on going down here. I see John Hale. John played with Jim Braxton. He's on opposite sides, and he says he was the better athlete, better football player. John, how are you?
I said Jim Braxton was the better football player.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood you. Okay. Oh, very good. And I have to go. This is my brother, man. This is right here. It was one of the toughest linebackers I ever saw in a Mountaineer uniform. And he's right up there with the good ones, Daryl Talley. And you also got to say, Wes Turner. What's up, Big Wes?
How you doing, Wolf? Good seeing you, man.
Oh, my gosh, man. I'll tell you what. You look good, brother. You look good. All right. Let's go on down. We got one more here. And Danny Wilfong, again, Band of Brothers, then and now, 66 through 70. I told you story time. I told you this is a big deal, and here we go. Nobody else brings these types of people on here. Danny, hello.
Good afternoon, Dale.
All right. Good to see you. Good afternoon to you. And let's get this round table started. Frank, I'm going to start off with you here because you really kind of organize this. And now you're the author of the Band of Brothers on the sports column, and I'll have to put that up there a little bit so people can go on that QR code, man. But you kind of put this whole group together, and to talk, I said, I just want to talk story. We've been talking about Bob Huggins all week. I really needed to get that behind me. I wanted to have some fun, and I want to hear some really good Mountaineer stories, man. So let's start this off, Frank.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking at the screen here. Some of my favorite people. I mean, West and I have never talked or met, but we've exchanged over the years. And Jamie was kind enough to come to the book signing we had, and I got to know John when I was doing the book, as well as Danny. Well, Danny, it's so good to see you. We've talked on the phone several times. Good to see you there. He's a consummate storyteller, and I think all of them are true too. Not even embellished.
Well, I'm here to challenge a few of those.
Well, I thought I was going to have to challenge this when I thought John said he was better than Jim Braxton. I thought right off the bat.
You're lying there.
Well, you know the thing that I like, what you said, and we talked last night, Wolf. It has been a down week, no question about it. Everywhere you turn, it's Huggins versus WVU. And after a while, you just shake your head. These folks are all character people. They're all upbeat, very positive. They've had great careers, great lives, great family people, and it's so great to have them here to close out the week. Let me turn to Jamie. You've shared some wonderful stories about Bubby Braxton, but also you've got another Braxton there in West. So I'll turn to you for opening comment. Anything you want to say?
No, thanks for having me. I got your call today, and I said it was ironic because the whole family's on their way to my house. So when you characterize us as family people, literally parties at my house tomorrow. If anybody wants to come over, we'll be just north of Richmond.
Well, you know what? I might join you there, Jamie. I mean, I know if Wes is eating good, I certainly can eat good.
You know what? If you got a minute, I'll tell you the menu because it's impressive.
No doubt. All right. Well, listen. So Jamie, let's just really quick talk about. Give us a setup of this Braxton Turner family because it's so big, and you're the first Mountaineer family of Mountaineer Nation, certainly for at least 1 year at the University of Mason. So that was really cool. We got some pictures of that we'll show. But go ahead, just bring it together for us because this is a family legacy.
It is. And, just like Frank is the storyteller for Mountaineer football, I'm the storyteller for our family. Obviously, I never played. But my name, Jamie, is because I'm named after Jim, Bubby. So I'm his namesake, one of his namesakes. And the story actually begins with my great-great-grandmother. She was born in Virginia, and she was one of the first women in our family who was not born enslaved. Well, through a weird course of events, she ended up in Somerset, Pennsylvania. And she and her brother lived across the street from each other in Fayette County near Uniontown. Well, his grandson was Maurice Moon, and he ran track at WVU. And he was one of the first athletes who integrated the sports programs there. Well, across the street from them lived my great-great-grandmother, and her great-grandson was Jim Braxton. So both of those family members ended up at WVU, and the experience was so positive that Bubby met his wife there, my Aunt Pam. West went there. My mom sent me there. She was Bubby's older sister just by 10 months. Then their third sibling, Mary Ann, her daughter went there. Virginia's son went there. Pam and Bubby's daughter went there. And just recently, my daughter graduated from there. So there are 10 Mountaineer graduates in our family.
Well,
and
that's pretty cool.
If I had to explain what happened, I would say it's simply a set of family ideals that really aligned with a set of Mountaineer ideals that made the match one made in heaven. It was just divine. To be a couple of people who integrated a sports program and set a course that has spanned over 50 years and through 3 generations is nothing short of God sent. And to have everybody graduate from there. So, we're a family of faith, and we feel blessed with everything that WVU has done for our family.
Well, that's pretty awesome, pretty great. I appreciate you coming on and talking about that. And let's get right to it, because we're going to talk about what you call Bubby and Jim Braxton. So, John, you came in with Jim, didn't you? And I want you to tell us about how, what was he like, man? He's such a legend, Hall of Famer. I have a picture when I was 8 years old of a jersey of the Bills with Jim Braxton. It's the jersey, man. I didn't get OJ. I got Jim Braxton because I love Jim.
Well, we all love Jim. And when we first came in as freshmen, we didn't know who this big guy was that could play ball the way he could play, and he could run. He was 240 some pounds, and he could outrun all of us. And Jamie, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but we used to tease Jim all the time because I think he was his mom had 7? He had 7 sisters, or what was the actual number, Jamie?
There are 9 of them.
9 of them,
and 4 boys. He was the oldest boy.
Okay.
West is the youngest. West is the baby boy.
Yeah. And then how many of his sisters were older than he was?
Just my mom. By
Okay.
10 months. Mm-hmm.
But we used to tease Jim, and the answer he always gave us, he says, well, I had 5 sisters, and my mom thought I was going to be a little bit girly, so she made me play ball all the time. So that's how he became a good football player. But another story is he was drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a pretty good baseball player too. And we hit it off right away. I'd been drafted by the Cincinnati Reds, and we had our plan. We didn't understand college football or major college football, D1 football that well. We thought we'd be 2 sport guys. We'd play football in the fall, and then we'd play baseball in the spring. And we went in to talk to Jim Carlin right off at the end of our freshman year. And we said, how are we going to work this schedule out, Coach? Because, we got baseball practice, and then we'll, work spring training and everything. Coach Carlin leaned across the desk and says, what's the matter? Don't you boys want to play football anymore? Jim and I looked at each other, and then that was the end of our baseball careers, at least in college. So we started focusing totally on football after that.
John, I got a question for you. I was looking up, see where you were playing, and you started off as a defensive back. You moved to a linebacker, and then you went to a defensive end. Did you just gain a lot of weight, or what was the deal?
No, the deal on the strong safety was Hayden Buckley was my coach as a strong safety. I had 3 coaches in 3 years there. But basically all said I was unmanageable, uncoachable. But Coach Buckley put it this way. He says, Hale, he says, you have arson in your heart, but you've got lead in your feet. so kid named Leon Jenkins came on. He was quite a bit faster than I was. He took over the strong safety duties, and I moved up to defensive end.
All right, very excellent. Okay, Wes, let's get to you now. Let's talk about this, man, because we know each other, and you come from the heritage, and of course, there's another Braxton and Phil who played wide receiver for the Mountaineers. We couldn't get your son landed. We couldn't get him there because we thought we had him at WVU. He went to North Carolina. But, man, what was it like to grow up in the family and have to be that football dude?
Oh, man. We grew up on competition. You had to be competitive in our household. We were competitive about everything. Jacks, races. It didn't matter. If there was some kind of competition, we were going to do our best to win. And I think that's where the basis came from. I mean, we always competed, and we like to compete. We were fair with each other. We worked hard with each other. We tried to beat each other. We helped each other grow, and I think that's where I learned most of my skill came from when I grew up. And not only that, my skill for being able to relate to people, to build relationships, to talk to people. That all came from our family. And WVU only enhanced it that much more. Like Jamie said, we are blessed when it comes to WVU. And I was allowed to come back and get my master's. I got a decent job where I ain't got to get dirty, because I have a degree from West Virginia. We as a family, and I think WVU, and I tell Landon this, although Landon did not get to West Virginia like I would hoped, but he even sees it that when it comes to WVU football and alumni, we get together, we stay together, we continue to stay in contact with one another, and you don't see that at all programs, and that's why even this year I have faith in the team this year. I'm gonna have faith in the coaches that we have a good year this year. Because I know that a lot of people were down from last year, but you know what? You got to have faith. You got to be a Mountaineer. It means you got to have faith in the team. So that's my whole thing, man. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful that we have a family. Me and you, Wolf, we've been so many places. We've seen each other so many places, only because of the camaraderie. And that's very important. So.
Absolutely. And so, Daddy, let's go to you, Daddy, and talk about this camaraderie because. That whole 66 to 70 team that Frank is the author of, but it's really Frank's excellent writing. I'm going to give you props, Frank. Excellent writing. But these are your stories. And these stories are pretty compelling. And I don't care what era it is. I was the alumni guy for 14 years, that was in the program, 12 years, alumni guy. And we did so much with you guys. And I could go to the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and on up. And it was still the same camaraderie because everybody wore that WV somewhere on their chest, on their helmet. It didn't matter. And it meant the world to us. And obviously, it still does, looking at all of you, how WVU has impacted all of our lives, including Frank, who was Michigan State for a bit, but he did go to school at WVU. So go ahead, Danny.
Well, first of all, I've got to come clean here. If it hadn't been for John Hale, I would have never made it. He told me that was the best thing that ever happened to me was whenever they moved him to defensive end on my side. He carried me. God bless you, John. It's so nice to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, Danny.
Oh man, I'm telling you, Bubby was created, and he and I, along with a lot of the people, were the best of friends. And I think about him quite often. I grew up in Parsons, and I know Pammy, which lived here in Parkersburg, and that's where I live now. And we were really good friends, and typically we would get together on the weekends. And Bubby had traveled with my dad whenever he came to the games, and he came back with us. Just think the world and all of him, and we know where he's at. I'm really fortunate that I had a father that never said stop. I wanted to go to another college with a teammate of mine that I graduated with, and my dad said, "No, son, you're going to West Virginia." And so fortunately I walked on. And I met some of the greatest guys I've ever met in my life. Dickie Roberts, could go on and on, and you as well, Dale, Wolfie. We became good friends. But when, as my dad said, Danny, I want to tell you something. When it's over, it's over, and here it is, 50 years over. And Dickie Roberts and John Hale and Randy Flincham, all of the guys, you can honestly say, what you say when words can't express what you want to say to them. You just say, I love you. And you know what? That's from my heart, because we earned it. And, Dickie, I really did. I tried to kill him. And he tried to kill me. I did. I swear to God. And John Hale remembers this, because I was a bomber and proud to be a bomber. I was with a bunch of the guys. We had our own bus when we practiced on Dale's out on Evansdale. We had our own bus because they wouldn't let us ride with the first teamers, the seniors, and etc. And it was in spring ball. And of course, Dickie was a center, and at that point in time, I was playing middle linebacker. And every time, my dad always said, son, it's always better to give it 150% all the time, then the game becomes simple. And I tell you, I unloaded on Dickie every play. And Coach Bowden, I'll never forget it, come over and he said, son, you got to slow down here. Go listen to the whistle. Okay. Well, that didn't help me at all, because I grew up in Parsons. So anyway, I passed out on the field. And so practice was over. And to this day, I still can see myself laying there in the middle of Evansdale, and I could hear Dickie Roberts in the bus. Die, Wilfong, die. And I think everybody else was cheering him, because we did. We absolutely, it was every day. But when do you quit? Never.
Let me tell the rest of that story, Danny.
Pardon me?
Let me tell them the rest of that story.
Okay.
Danny cleaned it up quite a bit for you, and I don't know, I'm not sure what your rating is on this show, Dale, but
Keep it clean.
Danny was unconscious on the field, or he gave it up every day. He gave 100% every day. And Dickie Roberts was standing over and saying, die, you son of a bitch, die. But we got Dickie off and got him into the bus. But the rest of that story is that Dickie Roberts was a good center. He was All-American center. There was nobody better. I don't care what
Amen.
What the accolades were, what the AP press said, or anything else. He was good. He went into Coach Bowden and Coach Carlin's office and says, I quit. And they said, well, you can't quit. What are you talking about? And he says, I quit. He says, Danny Wilfong he says, I don't mind the 10 games. I can beat all those guys, but Danny Wilfong is killing me. I cannot practice against that guy every day. So if you don't give him a scholarship and get him off me as a middle guard, I'm quitting. So they gave Danny a scholarship.
Amen.
Well, that's a great story. Let's go right to you, Jay. What's your favorite story I used to hear about Jim Braxton?
Okay, full disclosure. Bubby graduated from WVU and got drafted when my mom was pregnant with me. I'm aging myself. I never saw him play at WVU. And the memories as a child were of everybody going to the Bills games when he played there. And the kids would be together, but we wouldn't go to the games. They'd get a sitter and all of us kids would be together, and everybody older would go to the games. So my first big memory of West Virginia football came when I was a student there. And I had this conversation with my cousin Melissa not too long ago about our favorite West Virginia game, because she's a year younger than me. And we were roommates at WVU. Hands down, our favorite West Virginia game was not when any of our family members were playing. It was the 93 season when we went undefeated and beat Miami at home. That's our favorite West Virginia. None of our family was playing, but we were students there.
Yeah, that is a great game. I was on the coaching staff then, and I remember. Do you remember how electric that stadium was? I've never heard it.
Crazy. It was crazy.
Absolutely. Very good. Frank, let's bring you back in here now. Tell us about this story. What story do you want to bring together here with all these people? I know you got a story here. You're the master of the storytelling for the book.
Well, I tell you what, everybody now is seeing what I experienced in writing the book. What a joy it was to get to meet these folks and to hear from them and to really chronicle their work. I mean, I keep on telling people if they didn't do what they did, I would not have been able to do what I did. My favorite story, and actually Tony Caridi asked me this when he interviewed me a couple of months ago, just before the book came out. And it was a story that Danny told. So I'm going to turn to Danny to tell it. All these guys, almost all of them, were close to Bobby Bowden till the day he died, literally. I mean, he stayed very close to the players, and the players stayed close to him. But I was telling you, Wolf, I think that the relationship that Danny had with Bobby was very special. And so in the first chapter of the book, I write about a story that Danny shared with me about Bobby Bowden and how he looked at challenges. And I'm just going to turn to you, Danny, to talk about your relationship with Bobby and what he said and what you learned from him.
Thanks, Frank. And Frank, thank you so much for putting all your efforts and sharing them with the public out there. You know, none of us could be where we're at without coming from the good communities we came from and our friends that followed us through the good and the bad. And you know, Bobby really became my second dad. And when I think about him, I want to cry only because of what he stood for. And you know, I'll never forget whenever I was in that tub of ice that they brought me in and put me in there when I passed out. And Bobby come over to me and said, "Son, let me tell you something. You can't eat that football. And you could be anything you want to be with the effort you put forth." And you know, every time that there was issues up there, Bobby was the same guy that I met when I walked on as the day it was whenever I had last seen him at the games up there at the reunion. And you know, we cared for each other for what we were, not for what we said. And he was such a blessing to every one of us. And John can say that, and Wolfie, you as well. And anybody that had been around him. He never changed for anything. He was the same man, and he believed in the same thing. And we know where he's at because he was a good Christian man that spoke the word, but he lived it as well. And I've got to say thanks for giving me that opportunity because there ain't anybody any better. And John, you as well. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you putting the icing on that. You know, it was all good. All the beatings were great. I was worthy of them.
So all the beatings were great. Is that what he said? All the beatings were great.
Yeah, I enjoyed every one of them.
Well, talk about beatings. I gotta bring Wes in here because my man used to deliver some beatings. And are you there? Are you talking? Are you all right?
I'm good.
Okay, man. I see that you're not in the vehicle anymore, so this is good. You arrived safely. Hey, so tell us, Wes, what do you think about that and your time, and you know, when you lay your head down, what makes you laugh, man? Some of the stories you got a lot.
I can remember there's so many stories. I can remember the time where we used to of course we scrimmage and there you know, we would, you know how you do, you just tighten up and button up, you know, whenever we're just going through scrimmage. So you wouldn't kill each other, right? But then I don't know if you never heard of Speedy. We used to call him Speedy. What was his name? Pecan used to get mad at him all the time. Because Pecan, he used to have to come block me. And I'd be like, don't, you know, we'll come up, you know, we'll button up each other, you know, just go through the play and everything. But Speedy would always come and try to cut me. And I used to tell him, I said, Speedy, do not cut me. And Pecan said, hey, Speedy, don't get Wes mad. Whatever you do, don't get Wes mad, because then we got to really practice. And so Speedy's like, well, I got to go hard, because, you know, he's on scout team, so he's trying to make his mark, right? So he'd come and he'd try to cut me. And I'd say, Pecan, Pecan be like, I know, Wes, I know. But he would come, and I'd give him a good shot. Then he stopped for a while. Then a couple plays later, he'd do the same thing. But one day he finally cut me really good, and I tore every play I was in there. I made sure I was hurting somebody. So, I just remember that was just one of the funny stories. I can remember just the off the field. I can't go through any of the off the field stuff. I mean, it was.
Well, no, we're trying to keep this fairly clean.
I
already know those stories, by the way. So I mean,
wait.
No, we'll keep those up.
Here's a good one. I can remember me and Big Jack. You remember Big Jack Kessler, right?
Oh yeah.
So me and Big Jack were up against each other. We got mad at each other. So I started running him backwards, right? And I kept pushing him. I was running like 20 yards, and he flipped me over his back. And then, of course, after he flipped me over my back, he flipped over on top of me, and we flipped over on top of each other. And then Coach Nealon says, "You know what? I'm going to send you guys up into the stands." Oh, it was just funny how that happened because we kept flipping each other the whole time. Yeah, but it's just but we talk to each other still, and we laugh about it every time we see or talk to each other. It's the same thing. We laugh over for 20, 25 minutes. We'll laugh there. It's just great memories, man. It's just great times, great memories. Every last bit of it.
You know, it's so funny, and John, I'm gonna bring you into this because I can remember Wes and I can remember Big Jack he's talking about and Brian Joswick. They had all the biggest heads. I mean, their heads they're huge, crazy. Wes, don't be saying, "Oh, like you weren't one of them."
I wasn't one of them. Hey, they had 8.5 size helmets. I only had a 7 5/8.
Hey, Big Jack Kessler, I said, hey, he's up in the camp at the Detroit Lions. I said, Jack, how you doing up there? And he said, oh, good. They just brought me in for something to look at. So I said, John, tell me about something to look at when you were there all those years ago, the stories, and you're talking about with Jim Braxton. What makes you laugh, man?
Well, they all make me laugh. I'll tell one story on Jim, then I'll tell another story on Danny. But when we'd have our spring scrimmages. So I was a defensive end. The first year I was a defensive end, Jim was a fullback. So, you know, fullbacks and defensive ends get along great. I mean, they're about every play he's pounding into me or I'm hitting him. But he never got to carry the ball. He was always blocking. But one time he carried the ball, he hit me about 5 yards down the field. He falls on top of me, and I throw him over. You know, but helmet to helmet, so it was very loud, and everybody kind of froze. Everybody on the line of scrimmage and during the scrimmage, and to see who got hurt here. And Braxton goes back to the huddle, and he looks back at me, and we both said at the same time. I said, "Are you okay, Jim?" He said, "Are you okay, John?" But we were ragging each other and sticking it in. Danny and I used to go down on the kickoffs together all the time. So that was the most fun I ever had, except for downhill skiing, is going down on kickoffs. Loved it. And Danny and I were side by side all the time. And if you took our 40 times, I was probably a few tenths of a second faster than Danny, but I always made sure Danny got down there a little bit faster than I did, because there'd be a wedge down there. Oh, Will Fong would hit that wedge, knock everybody down, and then the ball carrier either trip over him or I would fall on top of him and get the tackle. So Danny never could figure out how I could beat him in a race, but he always beat me downfield.
All right. Well, Jamie, let's go right to that because, I can remember a friend of mine, God bless her, she just passed away, Linda Burdett. Good. Mm-hmm. And she was a gymnast coach and a legendary at WVU, as you all know here. And she was best friends with Jim and the family there. I remember she used to go up there. She used to tell me quite a few stories. Have you remember Coach?
I do remember her and her first husband, Bob. So Coach Burdett and my Aunt Pam, who is Bubby's wife, were freshman roommates at WVU.
That's right. Yeah, I now remember that. Yeah.
So for years, like when West was playing, we would tailgate at the Burdett's Insurance Agency over off of Pineview. So yeah, we remember everybody very well. And Mr. Burdett is Landon's godfather. That's Wes's oldest son. So yeah, we're still connected.
Wow, that's pretty wild. What was it like going ahead and tailgating then? I mean, it was still pretty wild then, right?
It was, and we were young, and the drinking age was 18 then. I
Oh,
was in, I was probably in middle school when West was there and playing, and I graduated from high school in 1990, and that's when I came along, and the drinking age had changed by then. So when I was there at that time, I was definitely a spectator only because of my age.
okay. Very good. Well, listen, guys, I got to do one thing. All right, we got to do a quick commercial right now. So give me a hang on. Just hang out for 30 seconds. We're going to hear from Abby Pearson. She's a gymnast. This is Mountaineer Stories. And Abby is going ahead.
Hi, I'm Abby Pearson from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Mountaineer store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Mountaineer store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Mountaineer app and sign up for the Mountaineer Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Mountaineer Stores.
If there's not a Mountaineer store near you now, there will be soon.
No doubt. I love going ahead and being supported by Mountaineer Stores for this show, the WolfMan's Call, because they do so much for West Virginia. They're in 5 different states, and they're also very heavily into Marshall and WVU, but also into the other schools throughout the state. Mountaineer Stores very heavily involved in name, image, and likeness, going ahead and helping West Virginia University, Marshall, and other schools being competitive. So we appreciate them as well. All right, Frank. So let's go. Let's get another story going here, and before we round this up, because these are some really fun stuff. And go ahead, read the book, dive into it, man. Give me something I will follow. Give me something I will follow.
Well, I'll tell you what, Danny does a great job of speaking for himself. I'll tell you that. I think I've told everybody who is on the screen here what I'm going to say now, but maybe folks watching haven't heard it, is that when I started this project, I really thought it would be primarily about football and that there would be stories that would be about football, and there are plenty of them. But the thing that struck me almost from the beginning when I started talking to the former players was who they are and how they live their lives. And the thing that struck me, and this is something that I think still gives me pause for thought. We love college football. It's an important part of our lives for us as fans. What we don't want to lose sight of is that it's more than winning and losing. It's really part of our journey toward adulthood. And it teaches a lot of lessons associated with fair play and with living the right way. And that's really important. And I'll tell you, I learned a lot about right living, so to speak, from doing the interviews with the guys that are in the book. And I never expected that I would be tutored with respect to issues of character, leadership. I mean, one of the things that I remember and I've told people about is one of the stories that Danny told me about Bobby Bowden. And I've used this in presentations since he told me about it. And Danny, I always give you credit for it because it's something I can relate to, and anybody who's been in an executive position or a leadership position. And Danny, you may want to elaborate here. Bobby Bowden told Danny toward the end of his life, you never know the price you're going to pay
to grow up
in those positions until you pay it. And it just struck me because I've been in executive positions, and you just never know where that road's going to lead. And sometimes things get very rocky. I mean, Bobby didn't leave Morgantown under the best of circumstances, and the same thing with Tallahassee. He wanted to coach one more year in Tallahassee, didn't want to leave Morgantown at all, but that was not his choice. So you never know the price you're going to be paying until after you pay it. And that just has stuck with me. If there's one part of that book that I'll never forget, it wasn't just writing it, but Danny, thank you for saying it.
Well, thank you, Frank. I appreciate it. John,
Yes.
remember it was a scrimmage game, or it wasn't a blue gold game, I don't think, when Bubby was running up the sideline and Tom Geishauser hit him head on.
Yeah, he had there were some fantastic hits that Jim Braxton laid on other people, and we always look at Jim Braxton like Jamie. We watched a lot of the Buffalo Bills play too. I can't remember the halfback's name, but we were really enthralled with Braxton and the way he blocked, and he made that team. He opened a lot of holes for the halfback that was there at the time. But in scrimmage one time, Geishauser was defensive back. Jim broke through the line. They hit head on, and you could see about 5 pieces of Geishauser's helmet explode and just go in 3 or 4 different directions. The following week, when Geishauser woke up, he knocked him cold. He did that once in a Syracuse game too. We were playing the sophomore year. We were playing Syracuse up in Syracuse, and the game was getting pretty tight. It was tied, or we may have been 1 or 2 points ahead. It's getting into the middle of the fourth quarter, and the game was definitely in question. And Jim came around the end on a pitch out. Sherwood pitched the ball to him. Braxton's going down the sideline. And again, a guy came up, put a full hit on Jim. His helmet exploded. He went down at our bench, right in front of our bench. Boom, out. Braxton went on to score or put us in scoring position. We ended up scoring and won that game going away. But I can't remember how far downfield he went because everybody was looking at the guy he just hit, including about 4 doctors on our sideline that went to him. Guy swallowed his tongue. They saved his life. I mean, they got his helmet off of him and they put him back together. But Jim could really lay some plastic on it. It used to be leather, but he could lay some plastic on him, and he hit hard.
Yeah,
Now, I don't want you all to think negatively about our family in any way. But West hit people like that too. Yeah. And there was this Boston College game that he should probably tell you about his hit. But like I said, I don't want you to think badly about us.
Hey, we think it's great.
But if we hit you, you're going to feel it, okay? You're going to feel it.
Well,
so go ahead, Wes.
We always say about ourselves is everything we did good is illegal now.
Jamie, there's nothing you can say that's going to make up for Wes.
No.
Okay. That guy on the field, you're right. He hit people like Jim. There's nothing you can say because Wes always brought it. Go ahead, Wes. Go ahead. Tell us about the BC hit.
Oh, it was my freshman year. I was on the kickoff. That was my favorite thing to do back then, was get on the kickoff and you were free. You could do whatever you wanted to back then.
Loved it.
So Troy Stratford, which was their star running back then, Doug Flutie has never beaten West Virginia, by the way. All 4 years, he has never beaten West Virginia. So opening kickoff, I go down. Troy Stratford saw me coming from the corner of his eye. He tried to duck, and when he ducked, he hit my shoulder pad. If he wouldn't have ducked, I would have probably drove him all the way out the sideline. He's lucky he ducked. But actually, no, he didn't, because I knocked him out. Tore his leg up. He's like out 6 or 7 games, but that was the game. That was the game. That set the tone for the rest of the day. And Doug Flutie to this day can never say he beat West Virginia University. And that's
0-4, baby. 0-4. That's
Yeah.
for sure. And there's no doubt about it. I remember, I think I got hit like that one time. I think it was Ronaldo Turnbull, my own teammate. He blindsided me. I was like, man, we're supposed to be teammates. It was a scrimmage. It was a scrimmage, no doubt. All right, so Danny, go ahead, man. Let's finish up here with your story. You hear me, Danny?
Oh, okay. The story about Bobby?
No, anything you want. Finish up what you want.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Frank, thank you so much for taking the time and bringing us all together. And I know we will meet here before long. And you're exactly right. The price you pay to grow up, you never know what it is. And God bless you, all of you. And John, it's a pleasure to see you, big guy.
Good to see you.
I still
Just,
have that.
just don't FaceTime. Just call me, Danny. Don't FaceTime me. I don't want to see you anymore.
I still have the check he gave me, John.
Okay. I'll be up looking for that one of these days.
We're gonna have to bring you all back to get Dickie Lee out here.
We got to get Dickie on.
Well, we need to talk about Dale Farley and
exactly.
Well,
I mean, we had some great, and Michael Sherwood was a good player. Tim Henshaw, Ricky Martin. I mean,
Ricky Martin.
Dylan, there's just a whole bunch of guys that were great. I was a defensive captain, but it had nothing to do with my playing ability. The players always voted on it, and I think they did it as a gag to make me a captain. But Farley was definitely Crennel before that, and then Farley. They were definitely the kings of our defense. I mean, we lived or died on those guys. They played very, very hard, and they were excellent players. Went on to play pro ball. They were good ball players. So we were decent athletes and hard nosed and we played hard, but there were some great stars on those teams that you can remember from 67 to 71, 68 to 70. The three teams there were excellent players. And Bowden, we had great leadership too. And Bobby Bowden I've lived in Tallahassee since 2000, and I retired here in 2013 in Tallahassee. So I saw quite a bit of Bobby Bowden, and we couldn't have had a better role model anywhere than Bobby Bowden. I can tell you that. So he's the best there was. So
amen.
Very good. All right. Okay, so Jamie, so let's go ahead and finish this up. What do you want? You didn't want us to think bad of the Braxton family. So how do you want to finish this up? But how should we think of the Braxton family?
There's only one way to think of the Braxton family. I told you we were getting together this weekend. The door's open. That's the Braxton way.
All right. That's
so if y'all are near Richmond, get in touch with me, and we promise you every time a good meal and lots of laughs. And that's us.
Let's stay in. First time I've met you, Jamie, but let's stay in touch because we think the world of the Braxton family because we think the world of Jim. So
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
So there's your open invitation. That's our way.
Excellent. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much. And Gail, there, Jamie. And Jim Braxton was one of my all-time favorites. My brother Ron played fullback at WVU, and I was, of course, an offensive guard. I wasn't as skilled as he was, but I was a good head knocker I was more skilled than Pecan. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we won't even get into that, but guys, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on the Wolfman's Call. Frank Fear, thank you for putting together. Jamie Braxton, Brett, thank you so much. John Hale, Danny Wilfong, I love you guys. Big West, I love you, brother. So
that's right. I know that, Wolf.
All right, guys, take care now, and we'll see you again. We'll do this again. Great times Thursday afternoon, having a nice little drink or some food. We can do hanging out, telling the story time. Thanks so much.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Frank. See you, John.
All right, boy. I tell you what, Frank. Thanks a lot, man. We'll see you later. Okay. Have a good weekend now.
You too. We'll see you on Monday.
Great story. I mean, that's just my soul, man. That just fills my soul. Feels it so good. And you know what? The big thing is you sit here and you think about it. Not much has changed in any of the eras. It's football is football is football. And Mountaineers are Mountaineers are Mountaineers. And it's the same, always the same. Thanks, Frank. Have a great day.
Yep, you too. Thank you.
All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish up. I promised you I would show you my films for the week, my favorite films, a little bit of breakdown, get a little bit going here, get some chicken wings there fired up. I sure hope if you're there at the WolfMan's Call Network, that you're enjoying a beverage there, enjoying some food, tip in your servers, and knowing that this is going to be Monday through Thursday all the time here on the WolfMan's Call and the WolfMan's Call Network. Let's see what Reno's doing right now. A man named Reno. What are you doing, man?
Hey, Wolf, I'm just working. What are you doing?
Did I interrupt you?
No, we're getting ready to go to the Joe's Nose.
Yeah, what's going on with the Joe's Nose? Tell me about it.
Well, tonight's their big night where they come together, meet some WU legends. I don't really know who's going to be there, but they seem to be put together a big crowd every
You don't
year.
know who's going to be there?
I don't. I've been out of the loop. Like I told you, I've been down in Charleston, so I've been helping out. But they're keeping that secret list close to the chest.
Well, I think Pecan's going to be there. Speaking of which, I don't know if you heard about that, but Chris Pecan, he texted me today. He's like, "Hey, man, you go to Tropics?" Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Just a goober, man. Well, all right. So we got Brian Jones back. Joe's Nose Golf Tournament, 33rd annual one. Him and Scotty Sears. Hey, if you still want to go, you can go there tonight on Thursday night. You can buy a ticket. I think it's something very feasible. And you can see Coach Nealon's going to be there, the legends. And there's got to be at least 35 former Mountaineers right there, right? Or I should say former players, not former Mountaineers, because we're all currently Mountaineers. Correct?
You're going.
Am I going? All right. Well, listen, let's go ahead. Let's break this down. Favorite films. Let's see what shake it on up here for this. And you can tell me. I'm going to have you break something down. A man named Reno breaking down some film could actually be pretty funny. So.
Well, I can't see it, Wolf. It's so tiny.
You think that, well, not as small as you are. Gosh. Well, you look at that. All right. Here we go. Can you see it now?
Kind of. Go ahead. I could try to figure this out.
Okay. Well, we got Geno Smith here. He's got to throw it to Metcalf. Now, I just want to show you this because what I see here with Geno, man, this guy can fire a ball. He's over 10 years. He's throwing a ball like he's got 4 or 5 years all in the league. I mean, all that time that he was riding the bench there and being number 2, he was saving his body, man. There's no doubt about it. How about this, huh? Again, same play. Let's watch the release. Look at that release, Reno. What are you going to say about that?
He was very exciting last year. I look forward to this year. I hope he continues. It's awesome. I'm a big fan.
I mean, this is a guy who's going to be in his 11th year in the NFL. He looks fresh. He looks like he's ready to really take the Seahawks and do something with them. All right, you got Parsons right here. Going to go up a defensive end. This is the Cowboys. My guy, watch him. There you go. What's he going to do? Oh, what is this? This is what I used to do to you all the time when you try to stop the refrigerator. Ooh. No doubt, man. Get out of my way. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. And he hits a hit. Unbelievable. That is good. Oh, here comes my favorite, Reno. Ooh. Now, this was you last Saturday night. Hey, this is Mean Joe Green. This is what I found right here. Okay, the scrum continues. It continues. Oh, look at the haymaker! It's coming out. Why don't we have football like this anymore? This is probably Danny Wolfong on Dickie Lee. Look at the haymaker. Oh, that is just awesome, man. Oh, here we go. Oh, ouch. Look at that. Don't ever spin and turn when the guard is helping a tackle and support because you might get rhino head. This is rhino head right there if you get headed. Not bad. All right, now this is Notre Dame. And I wanted to show this because this is cover 3 on the defense. If you look at the defense here, they're going to go drop 3 deep. And you see the 3 receivers out there. There's the 20 personnel. And what's going to happen is they're going to go 4 verticals. What does vertical mean, Reno? Going straight down the field, right? Vertical, right? Okay, but 4 of them now. So they're going 3 deep. What does that tell you right off the bat, Reno? You're a mathematician.
But there's going to be 3 on 4.
Maybe 4 on 3.
4 on 2, maybe.
I even showed you this beforehand. My gosh. Look at that.
Look at that.
Wow. Right? Now check it out. Okay. Look at it. It's cover 3. There's only 3 deep. What's that middle safety going to do? He's going to get what? He's going to get caught right in the middle. He doesn't know what decision to make. He doesn't know who to go to. That's excellent. Good job. Again, slow motion. I love it. I love it. I love it. He does the fake pump. He sends the safety to the what? To the other side. Did you see the safety or that was there because he did the fake pump to quarterback? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yep, take 1 step. It only took
and
one
then
step.
he pumped to the right. Then he went to the left and shot. And what did it do to the safety? It made him go one way. Then he couldn't return. That's why it's open. Just for you, Reno. I'm teaching you, man. Right. One more. Oh, I really like this play, I guess, because I put an extra.
like seeing Notre Dame out there.
You see it to the right, and then he comes back. That safety doesn't know what he's doing right there. Too late. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, when I talk about offensive line, right, and you can add to the tight end for that matter, when we talk about working as 5 as 1, working as one unit, 5 different players. If it's a tight end as well, we'll call that 6. But right here, you go ahead, look at this. All the work and all the way down. You see the push? Look at the push. And this is beautiful. This is offensive line going whoom, right down the line, pushing it down. And look what happens. That defensive end plays too wide because of the quarterback with the read. There's a big hole right there. Not bad. You see the offensive lineman jamming down. Oh, if you like football, man, this is what you got to like. This is eating your lunch and your dinner. Right here. Look at the trap. You see the big one, 77. He's coming across. He's got to take this Texas A&M defender, and he's going to hit him. Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's a trap. Inside shoulder out. Look at the leverage now. Look at his back. He's bending his knees. For a big man, that's good. Look how low he gets. He gets lower, and there the trap it opens up. I'm telling you, what have I been saying the last few weeks? Let's bring back the trap. I'm telling you, all of college football. If you had the trap in your game, Neil Brown, right? If you had the trap in your game, it would take at least half the season for defenders to remember how to defend it. Because they don't forgot. What goes around on the wheel comes around on the wheel. You got to love the trap. Bring it back. Right here. Look at this. Oh, wow. 5 as 1. Offensive lineman. You got Georgia. They know how to play football down there, don't they? Wide open. And here we're going to run through. Look at that. Oh, where's the defense? There's nobody in the box. Did you see that? There was nobody. Reno, did you see it? Talking.
Yes. Yeah, what do you want me to say? I'm enjoying the show.
Oh, I'd expect you to give a little bit more than that. All right. I've got. What is this? This is cover 2 down here, right?
I want to go back to the fight.
You gonna what?
I like to go back to that fight. That was intense.
Let me show you some. Okay, here you go. Read the quarterback safety. Open the hips. You got to open the hips, man. You got to push to number 3. Talking about the receiver, number 3. High point. The finish. You got to go high. What's high point, Reno? It's higher than
highest
you.
Ball. Yeah.
What's the high point?
Stop the high point stuff with me.
It's the finish. All right. The high point is you got to go meet the ball the highest you can go.
I know what you're talking about. And when receivers do that to me, I just cut.
When receivers did it to you, you cut their legs. Well, jeez. Yeah. It's because you had no vertical. You had no push off the ground. All right. Again, you got to see it. Right there, it's cover 2, but he reads, he opens up the hips, and he goes. All right, somehow I put that in there. All right, very good, and we're out of here. All right, with that one. That's enough film for right now. What do you think, man? What did you think of the show? What did you think of the storytelling?
I thought that was great, Wolf. I mean, you're a big WU guy. How'd you feel? I mean, this is old school football they talked about.
Oh, man, I tell you, it was good for my soul. Especially after this week, talking about it and Bob Huggins and, the university and the difficulties, the power struggle that's going on. We've had lawyers all week. We've had just people come in. The thing is that Mountaineer Nation, I've always said it, this is your opportunity to go ahead and to talk. And if you want to come on, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop the link right now. If you want a chance, I see Pod has been up here. I've been actually doing the story, so I wasn't even looking at the boards of Pod. Sorry, Pod. I got you up there. And let me see. Supposed to be on, but didn't get the link. Alrighty. Well, listen, you got anything else you want to do for the cause here, Rito, before you want to go?
I just had a question. Do you think the young folks that are thinking about going to WVU or playing in ball right now listen to these old school guys and get inspired? Or do you think they connect? I mean, if they did, that'd be awesome.
If they were smart, they would go ahead and listen. I don't think a lot of times that they pay attention as much because there's so much going on. My phone, hey, oh, look, oh, hey, did you see that? That's a cool picture, man. 20 years from now, I'm going to tell my kid, that's a great picture right there. But that was just me in the bathroom doing my hair. You know what I'm saying? That's the culture right now. And I don't think they didn't pay attention. I know they should buy that book with Frank, the Band of Brothers, and it just amazes me where the game has come. The game has improved in so many ways. The athletes have improved, but in some ways the game has suffered, and it is not as good as it was. And I'm not talking about the kicks to the groin or the haymaking punches like the old timers did, but I am talking about a real toughness. Like you saw that Dickie Lee talking about Danny Wolf on, just covered him
on the bus. Kill. I mean, that's a little much, but still, it's fun.
Kill Danny Wolf. You know what? I mean, that's some good stories. You heard about Jim Braxton. Jim Braxton, one of my heroes. I mean, I grew up in Buffalo. I grew up 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the stadium. And he played, his beginning of his career was at Old War Memorial down in Buffalo. And then they moved out to Orchard Park in the suburb. The stadiums were the Ralph Wilson Stadium. All right, man. Well, listen, I got the link out there. Is anybody out? Anybody out there? The link is out. It is out. Reno, anything else for the cause? I don't see it, man.
Great show, Wolf.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We need to do some more film breakdown, I think, next week, because I got this zero coverage package that I've been saving. Actually, I've been promising a little bit, but I've been saving it too. And I think that it's going to be pretty valuable. You know what zero coverage is, Reno, by the way?
No, but I'll tell you this. I'm excited about the season to start. We're talking so early about this stuff. I'm starting to get antsy.
Well, the thing is, I got so much to say. I mean, I have so much to give. There's so many things I want to show people to say, this is how you can understand the game. You know what I mean?
Do they want to see it? Tell me.
They should. I mean, this is what the game is. This is how do you enjoy a game that maybe you don't understand? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you go ahead and enjoy it? Like, you have to understand it. And there's a lot to it. Now, if you just understand the basics, that's 6 points. You score there a touchdown, and that's 6 points, or that's a field goal, 3 points, whatever it may be. But I think you can always enjoy more if you got the passion, if you got the heart. And that's it. And Keith Hawkins says, Reno, I got to tell you, man, Keith's a little tough on you. He says, you need more film. That's what he says. Keith, I have to agree with you. Reno, he's a little short in film. All right, fellas. Everybody, take care now. Have a great day. Thursday, we're out here. Monday, we're back. I am bringing Cover Zero. Frank Fear will be back with the Frank Fear Hour. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll have to see what's going on with the Bob Huggins situation. Hopefully, they fix it and it goes quiet and both parties become at least satisfied is what I'm hoping for. And what else? Get ready. Big 12 Media Days happened today, and we will talk about that next week. We'll start gearing up and getting into the meat of it all. And don't forget, we have some great guests coming up. We have Mountaineers lined up, ready to roll, all on the WolfMan's Call. And thanks for watching. If you're watching from the WolfMan's Call Network, we appreciate it. You got to love it, man. All the places. Stand with it, man. We're going to get this rocking, and we're going to get out there, and we're going to put out for the Mountaineers, and we're going to be doing Marshall, and we're going to be doing football all over. Whatever is the issue of the moment. Have a great weekend. Reno, we're out.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you will find me at my local Parmar store.
We had that gold and blue pride at your local Parmar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Parmar app and sign up for the Parmar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Parmar stores.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock. How many? The anywhere, anytime chargers, powering a connected world. Never buy AA batteries again. Rechargeable 500 times plus. Paul Mini AA USB lithium battery. As easy to charge as your cell phone. sustainable energy. Stay charged. Go green, save green. Feel the power of Paw. Order now at pawmini.com.